Stop, take a breath, look around the room. Everything looks solid, right? The walls are stable, the memories in the brain feel like concrete records of the past. But what if they aren't? What if the past is being edited in real time like a Word document and nobody got the memo? There is a sensation creeping through the collective consciousness of the internet, a feeling that reality itself is slippery. It is not just about forgetting keys or misplacing a wallet. It is about millions of strangers, people who have never met, sharing the exact same false memory with terrifying detail. This is the Mandela effect. It starts with a simple question about a logo. Picture the Fruit of the Loom logo, the one found on the tag of t-shirts and underwear for decades. Visualize it. There's an apple, some green grapes, purple grapes, and green leaves. And behind the fruit, a cornucopia, a brown woven basket shaped like a horn spilling the bounty forward. It is a distinct image. Many people specifically learned the word cornucopia because of this logo. They remember tracing the weave of the basket with a finger while folding laundry. Here's the problem. The basket never existed. The company history shows the logo has always been just fruit. No basket, no brown loom, just fruit floating in white space. When this fact is presented, the brain rejects it. It feels like a lie. It feels like someone went back in time and photoshopped reality. How do millions of people hallucinate a specific wicker basket? If it were a random error, some would remember a bowl, others a plate, others a box. But everyone remembers the cornucopia. This is not a mistake. This is a glitch. Then comes the cinema, the most famous line in movie history, the climax of The Empire Strikes Back. Darth Vader looms over a battered Luke Skywalker. The wind howls, the lightsaber hums. Vader reveals the dark truth. Everyone knows the line. Pop culture has recited it for 40 years. Luke, I am your father. Go watch the clip, right now. Vader never says that. The line is, no, I am your father. The context changes entirely. The memory of Luke being spoken is vivid. People can hear the deep baritone of James Earl Jones saying the name, but the audio track says no. It feels wrong. It sounds like a bootleg version, but it is the original. Always has been. The merchandise, the parodies, the playground reenactments, they all got it wrong in the exact same way. It's a collective delusion that replaced the actual event. These instances are just the cracks in the dam. Once the mind opens to this possibility, the floodwaters of wrong memories pour in. Think about the children's books with the family of bears, the cozy stories about learning lessons, the Berenstain Bears. Pronounced Steen, it ends in E-I-N, like Einstein. Everyone remembers the cursive font on the cover. But pull a book off the dusty shelf today, it says Berenstain, S-T-A-I-N, pronounced stain, like a coffee stain. It looks ugly, it sounds wrong, it clashes with the childhood memory of the phonetic pronunciation. People swear on their lives it was Stein, but the records show it was always Stain. The author's name is Berenstain. The universe is gaslighting the population over the spelling of a bear family. This phenomenon is named after Nelson Mandela. The backstory is chilling. A massive segment of the population remembers Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. They recall the news clips, the funeral procession, the weeping crowds in South Africa, the eulogies given by world leaders. Many people have a distinct memory of learning about his death in school. Then Nelson Mandela walked out of prison alive in 1990. He became president. He died decades later in 2013. When the news of his death broke in 2013, the internet exploded. People were confused. Didn't he die 30 years ago? The memory of the funeral was real to them. It wasn't a guess, it was a recorded event in their minds. This discrepancy birthed the term Mandela effect. It suggests that these people originated from a timeline where he did die, and somehow consciousness shifted to this current timeline where he survived. The theories attempting to explain this range from the scientific to the terrifying. The skeptics call it confabulation. This is the polite way of saying the human brain is a terrible hard drive. The brain doesn't store video files, it stores fragments. smells, sounds, emotions. When a memory is recalled, the brain rebuilds the scene from scratch, filling in the gaps with probable details. The cornucopia appears because cornucopias are associated with fruit. The brain inserts the basket to make the image make sense. Luke is added to the Star Wars line to provide context to the quote. It's a logical patch. But that explanation feels too neat. It doesn't explain the specificity. Why do everyone hallucinate the same monocle on the Monopoly Man? Rich Uncle Pennybags has never worn a monocle, yet ask a room full of people and half will mimic the gesture of adjusting a glass piece over the eye. They're confusing him with Mr. Peanut? Maybe, but the memory is distinct. The darker theories lead to the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. The idea is straight out of science fiction. In 2012, scientists started smashing particles together at speeds approaching light. They were hunting for the God particle. The internet conspiracy theorists suggest that these high-energy collisions didn't just find a particle, they fractured reality. They shifted the world into a parallel dimension, a near-identical universe, but with slight alterations. In Universe A, the bears are Berenstein. In Universe B, they are Berenstain. We are living in Universe B, but our memories are still holding on to the data from Universe A. This ties into the concept of the multiverse. If there are infinite universes with infinite possibilities, then everything that can happen does happen. There is a universe where the Fruit of the Loom logo has a basket. There is a universe where Pikachu has a black tip on the tail, another common false memory. Pikachu's tail is entirely yellow. Perhaps the walls between these universes are thinner than physics suggests. Perhaps consciousness slides between them without anyone noticing, until the small details don't add up. Consider the movie Shazam. Thousands of people remember a 90s comedy starring the comedian Sinbad as a genie. They remember the purple cover box in the video rental store. They remember the plot. They remember the cheesy jokes. But this movie does not exist. There is a movie called Kazam shading Shaquille O'Neal, but the Shazam truthers insist it's a different film. Sinbad himself has denied it, but the memory persists. It's a phantom movie that an entire generation watched, but no camera ever filmed. The scary part isn't the instances, it's the implication. If the past can change, what is real? If the collective memory of millions can be proven wrong by a Google search, can history be trusted? It feeds into the simulation theory. If the world is just code, just a sophisticated video game played by higher intelligence, then these are patch updates. The developers changed the texture file for the Fruit of the Loom asset. They altered the audio file for Star Wars. The users, us, are noticing the bugs in the code. The psychological impact of this is profound. It creates a sense of dissonance, a distrust of one's own mind. When a person looks at the Volkswagen logo and sees a gap between the V and the W that they never noticed before, it feels like a betrayal. I washed that car for 10 years, they say. That line was not there. But there it is, staring back, unchanged since World War II. There's a character from the James Bond film Moonraker, Dolly, the girl with the pigtails who falls in love with the villain Jaws. The visual gag is simple. Jaws smiles, revealing metal teeth. Dolly smiles back, revealing braces. The metal connects them. It's love at first sight. Millions remember the braces. It's the punchline of the scene. Watch the movie today. Dolly has no braces. She just has perfect teeth. The visual joke falls flat. It makes no sense. Why would they bond over perfect teeth? The scene feels empty. Search forums are filled with people who saw this in theaters. They saw the metal. Where did it go? Did the simulation render fail? Did the timeline shift? Another unsettled debate involves the Wicked Queen in Snow White. Mirror, mirror on the wall. That's the phrase. It's on t-shirts, it's in song lyrics, it's the cultural default. But the Disney movie actually says, magic mirror on the wall. It sounds rhythmic, but it feels foreign. Mirror, mirror rolls off the tongue. Magic mirror feels clunky. Yet the animation clearly mouths magic. The terrifying thought is that reality is not fixed. It is fluid. We are walking on a shifting floor. The things loved in childhood are being retroactively altered, or the mind is simply far more fragile than the ego wants to admit.
It poses a question about the nature of truth. Is truth what is recorded in books and digital files, or is truth what is experienced by the consciousness? If 1 million people experience a cornucopia, does that collective thought form a reality of its own? Maybe the internet is to blame, the echo chamber. One person misremembers, posts about it, and the power of suggestion plants a false seed in thousands of other minds. Memory inception. We are rewriting each other's pasts through forums and viral posts. We are infecting each other with a virus of false history. Look at the tail of the Curious George monkey. He uses it to hang from trees, right? He swings around. Visualize the monkey. Visualize the tail. Curious George has no tail. He never did. He's a chimp, not a monkey. But the image of him hanging by a tail is burned into the brain. It's another detail that has vanished into